The 148th Preakness Stakes will run this Saturday, the second leg of the Triple Crown. Mage won the first leg at the Kentucky Derby on May 6th at 15-1 odds. Mage is looking to become the first Derby winner to win the Preakness since eventual Triple Crown winner Justify in 2018, and is attempting to be the 14th all-time winner of the Triple Crown. So let's take a look at the Preakness post position odds. At the number 1 post, National Treasure 4-1, number 2 Chase the Chaos 50-1. The favorite Mage at number 3 with 8-5 odds or plus 160. Coffee with Chris at 20-1. Read the Route 1 10-1. Perform at 15-1. And the number 7 post, Blazing Sevens, at 6-1. So let's get some race picks now and welcome in SportsLine's Mike McClure and Gene Menez. Guys, the field was already the smallest in 5 years. Now it's shrunk to 7 with a scratch this morning. It's also the first Preakness since 1969 with just one Derby horse. That horse, of course, is Mage. So, Gene, start us off here. Who's your pick to win?
Hey, Grace. Well, this has turned into the Preakness, not the Preakness this week because of all of the the few horses coming back from the Kentucky Derby. But my pick to win is going to be National Treasure. This was one of the fastest 2-year-olds in the country last year when he was trained by Bob Baffert. Now this year, he's dealt with a little bit of a foot issue. He was transferred out of Bob Baffert's barn because Baffert was ineligible to run a horse in the Kentucky Derby. Now he's back with Baffert and the foot issue has healed up. He's training like a monster going into Saturday's race. He's turned in 2 bullets for the Preakness. And I tell you what, if Mage is not able to duplicate his Kentucky Derby effort, I fully expect National Treasure to have every opportunity to hold him off down the stretch in the Preakness Stakes.
I love that pick, Gene. I like National Treasure quite a bit, but I'm going to go with Mage here. I think it should be the clear favorite at this point. You mentioned all the scratches that we've seen so far and the fact that this is the only horse from the Derby running, but the limited field, I think, really mitigates some of the concerns I have with Mage, which is clearly breaking at the start. That's been the issue here. He was a runner-up at Florida Derby, not a good break. Won the Kentucky Derby, not a good break. Now there's a significant reduction in terms of traffic overall here. And then the scratch today, first mission being scratched, I think really increases the win equity overall here. I'm not worried about the lack of activity between here. The 2 weeks off here, I think this is a perfect time frame. Give me Mage to win the Preakness.
All right, so Mike going back to the well. Now, guys, the reason horse racing is so fun, we get the exotic bet. So, Gene, what's your play here?
Now, this is a tough bet because in a small field with a heavy favorite who's likely to do well, you really want to be narrow with these exotic bets because they can get really pricey and not pay that much. So let's keep it narrow. We're going to do a superfecta. So we're going to try to hammer this. We're going to do Mage and National Treasure over Mage and National Treasure over Perform, over 2 other horses in 4th. That's a superfecta that'll has 4 combinations. Now, I'm also going to play it with Mage and National Treasure, Mage, National Treasure over Blazing Sevens and Red Route 1 with Perform in the last spot. That's another 4 combinations. So you want to keep this really tight. You don't want to spread a whole lot. You don't want to box a whole lot because it's going to end up costing you a lot more money in the end and you might not get a whole lot in return. So hopefully that superfecta comes through tomorrow.
And I've got an exacta box here. I agree with Gene. You want to keep it pretty thin here considering the size of the field and the favorites at the top. The 3 horses I'm targeting here are going to be Mage, National Treasure, and Blazing Sevens. So what we need here is any 2 of these 3 selections need to finish 1st and 2nd. Doesn't matter the combination. There are 6 possible combinations here. We've already talked about Mage, the clear favorite. Understand that. National Treasure, though, Bob Baffert cannot talk enough about how good he has been, obviously, throughout his career. I think he would love nothing more than just have some success here after being banned from the Derby. And then Blazing Sevens, one we haven't really talked about yet. This horse was excellent as a 2-year-old. Hasn't been super good so far this year. However, did qualify for the Kentucky Derby, elected to skip that event in preparation here. of the Preakness. Now you've got a limited field. I definitely think Blazing Sevens is live for a strong run here. Give me the exacta box. National Treasure, Mage, and Blazing Seven.